First line of order on this recipe, we're going to clean and chop 2.5 pounds of fresh harvested rhubarb. The first step to this wonderful jelly is taking 2.5 pounds of fresh picked rhubarb, cleaned and chopped, and we are going to start putting this through the food processor. We have 1/2 cup water, which is going to have to do for the whole amount of rhubarb. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to each food processor full. You can use a blender if you have one. I, however, do not have a blender any bigger than my food processor. So I'm just going to use my food processor today. Use a Vitamix or whatever you got. If by chance, now I've done this on purpose, if by chance you have rhubarb left and you've used up your 1/2 cup of water, do not add more water. What you're going to want to do is take some of the juice from the rhubarb that you've already pureed and add it in. As it goes for canning with anything, the acidity is the important part in what you're doing to prevent botulisms. The acidity of this jam makes it safe to waterbath can, as per most jams. I think all jams. We do add supplemental acidity, but we don't want to water it down. So if you do run out of liquid, use what you've already pureed and add that back into your container. Okay, so we're back with my cool setup here. What I have here is a pair of pantyhose, and at the crotch I have just tied it off with a twisty tie. You can use, to strain this, a jelly cloth, like a jelly bag or whatever. That's probably what's recommended. I'm a little old school. I am using pantyhose. You can also use like cheesecloth or muslin would probably work well as well. Out of this task, we are actually looking for about 3.5 cups of liquid. We don't want to do a whole lot of squeezing. I'm just adding a light pressure to help this along. You can, if you do squeeze it, wind up with like a milky texture, like a milky color. You're going to take our juice, pour it into a stainless steel saucepan, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and the seeds of 1 vanilla bean. What you're going to do is add your sugar to the mixture and bring that to a boil. You're going to boil for 3 minutes. Then after that 3 minutes, you're going to add your liquid pectin, bring back to a boil, and boil 1 minute more. Once everything's added to the jar and you've got the heat on, what we need to do is bring this to a boil, stirring constantly. So what I am doing is scraping the foam from the top of my jelly mixture. Now that I have gotten most of the film off the top, I'm going to fill my jars to a 1/4 inch headspace. I'm going to do, this recipe is good for 6 half pints. I did some 1/2 and 1/4 pints. The recipe is processing for 10 minutes for half pints. I do not have a recipe for full pints, but when you are processing 1/4 pints, you're going to process the same as a half pint because there is no processing time designated below 10 minutes, I believe, for jams and jellies. So what I'm going to do is process these in my steam canner, and then I will meet you back once they are all done and we're ready to pull them out. Alright, while I am waiting for my canner to come up to temperature, I just saw this and I thought maybe you guys might like to enjoy a cute moment. But I have been asked how my cattle dogs do with my cats, how I keep cattle dogs and cats without the dogs killing the cats. I'm going to show you how. This is basically what cattle dogs like to do, snuggle. They don't necessarily need to snuggle you, but they definitely cannot be left to sleep alone. Actually, the cats and dogs get along great. Looks like we're almost up to temperature, so I'm going to catch you guys back once we're done processing and letting them sit for a minute, and I will see you then. Alright, now that I have let my canner sit, rest with the lid on, which is part of the processing time, that's 10 minutes to let your canner rest. That is in the processing time. So what I did is I tightened down my Tattler lids. What we are now going to do is leave these jars to sit undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours. So a common question with jams and jellies that I do see is that it's still liquid after it's cooled. Jams and jellies can take up to 2 weeks to solidify, to completely gel, to set up properly. So after 2 weeks, you're going to see what you have. Some jams and jellies set up right away. I've heard instances where they crystallize. I've also once had it where my jelly never set up. I believe it's probably because I missed a little bit of sugar, but I'm not entirely 100% sure. Typically, jams and jellies set up in 12 to 24 hours, and occasionally it takes a little bit longer. So don't panic if you're just taking them out of the canner and they're just cooled and they're still liquid. Don't worry. You're probably going to be fine. It's probably going to be a-okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I had a little bit of this jelly, though not set up. It was very delicious with a little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I thought it was absolutely tasty, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.